In this video, we're going to be covering controlling a camera that is connected to our controller. And as you can see from the home page, we have a button here that can take you to the camera page. And if you press here, you can see from the button here, it is linked to camera. So if you go on the left here and press on camera, you know that this button will link you to this page. The next thing I want to also highlight that whenever you are using a PTZ camera in your meeting room or for your conferencing system, usually you control the pan, zoom and tilt by your remote control. How you control it through your remote control, usually you will press at a button and the camera will start moving or zooming in until you release it. And when you do the releasing action, the camera either stops zooming in or out or stop turning left or right or up and down. And to duplicate this same action or functionality on our control system, we have different modes for the buttons. So whenever you press on the button, you can go and change the mode for the button. For today's application, we are going to use the press and release mode, which is basically duplicating exactly what you do on the remote control. And so for this case, you can add two different sets of commands for the press and release. And to demonstrate that, I can go here for the devices connected and go to the cam. And again, for this camera we are using Hexa, and then double click here, and then I can actually specify the command for going left. Again, this command will be available on the user manual for this camera or any documentation that the manufacturer for this camera will provide to you. Now I added here the command that will turn the camera to the left. I need to add the command which will stop turning the camera to the left, and this also will be specified as the stop command. And you can see here, I'll just add it. Again, this information is coming from the documentation provided by the manufacturer, and each and every camera will have a different sets of commands to control this functionality. So after adding those two different sets of command, now as soon as I press on the button, it will start executing the turning left command. As soon as I release the button, it will send the stop command. So this is it for the press and release functionality. Something else that we can cover is also adding a button that is not available on the user interface, because since we've been working with this theme, we've been utilizing each and every button that's available on it. Now let's say if you want to add buttons that are not available on it, it's very simple by just clicking right click and just add button. As soon as you add the button, it will show on the top here. You can move it anywhere you want on the page. You can rename it. In this case, because I'm going to utilize this button to recall a preset that is saved on the camera, I'm gonna call it preset number 1 because it's going to recall preset number 1 on the camera. Again, you can go through the font if you want. You can change the size, you can change the color of the writing, and then you can move it around in the box. You can also change the style of the button. So for example, you can choose it as a color, and you can choose a color for pressed and a color for released, or you can use an image, and in this case you can actually add any image in PNG file from your graphic library. You can also here set the transparency for the button, and you can set the position for it. Now let's go back again to adding a command to this button. In this case, since we are dealing with the same camera, I'll choose the camera from here, and usually the camera will also be using like the same Hexa commands, and then I can actually enter the command for recalling a preset on the camera. And as you can see, this last two numbers will be the number of the preset on the camera. So if it's 09 like that, I'm calling preset number 9. If it's 01, I'm calling preset number 1, and then I can finish the command and press enter. And now this button is ready to recall preset number 1 on the camera. Now remember, if you are recalling presets, you will have to set or save those presets on the camera, and then later you will be able to recall them from here. This was covering the presets or recalling presets on the camera. Thank you very much.